Hello, everybody. Welcome to your weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Mr. G back with you once again on Elite Weather. Let's talk about that weather forecast for this week as we have a lot of wet weather through the nation's midsection that we are going to talk about today and a pretty dramatic warm up across the west. So let's jump into our first map as we are looking at our big area of high pressure over here across the Midwest, and that extends from the Gulf Coast all the way up into the northern plains, up into the Canadian border. Then we got troughing out to the western half of the United States. But if you can see this yellow out here, that is an inbound ridge of high pressure that is going to dramatically impact the weather along the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast. And as we move into your day tomorrow, we're going to be seeing that troughing out here. So we're going to see one more cooler day out here across the west, but we're going to be mostly dry. But we will see things a little bit cool for your Wednesday across the western United States, and nice and warm across the Midwest and through the plains and along the Gulf Coast. So the nation's midsection, so the central part of the United States, are going to be very nice temperatures. We're near 80 today near Minnesota, so we're going to see much more of that tomorrow as temperatures remain warm through the Midwest and down into the South. And then on your Thursday, we're going to be seeing this start to squeeze out a little bit. So we're going to be seeing this diminish a bit. So we're going to start to see that warmth come in off of the Pacific as that western ridge starts to build in. So we're going to start to see high pressure build in along the west coast, and that ridge is going to lift up into the Pacific Northwest. By the time we get to Friday, look at all of this warmth building in across the Pacific Northwest, and we're going to take a look at those temperatures. Now we're going to start to see things cool down as far as the Midwest, but not too bad. But it's going to be mostly because of heavy rain in the area through the Midwest, the central and southern plains as well. We're going to also see some of that rain across the northern plains, but nowhere near as much as we're going to see further down to the south. So we have that severe weather and excessive rainfall to deal with this week as we move through another wet week across America. Look at that surging warmth across the Pacific Northwest. Very warm temperatures all the way up into parts of southwestern British Columbia and southern Alberta. So we're going to be seeing surging temperatures even into Canada. So Edmonton and through Vancouver, we're going to start to see those temperatures warm, and even into Calgary, warming temperatures out there across southern Canada and the Pacific Northwest. And we're going to be seeing it all the way into your Sunday. An area of low pressure is going to form here. This is a cutoff flow. It is cut off from the main flow aloft. So this area of low pressure will add to the warmth out west, because we're going to be seeing that flow coming around this area of low pressure from this way. So we're going to be seeing a lot of warm air coming from the desert southwest and across the eastern side of the Rockies. And with that being said, we're going to have some orographic lift as air go over the mountains. So we're going to be seeing thunderstorms over the eastern side of the Rockies, and we're going to be seeing those warmer temperatures come into Idaho and into the Pacific Northwest. So we're going to be seeing an easterly wind, so that's going to always spell warmer weather for Oregon and Washington. So we're going to be seeing those temperatures warm up dramatically across the Pacific Northwest. I mean, this is going to rival the Midwest when it comes to how hot it's going to get out there. So let's take a look at those temperatures that we're going to be seeing across the Pacific Northwest. So when we get to Friday, we are going to be seeing those temperatures warm up into the upper 80s. I'm going to stand over here so you can really see what's going on across the Pacific Northwest as those temperatures are really warming up out there. We're going to be seeing 88 degrees in Portland, 77 for the folks in Seattle. So we're going to be seeing a lot of 70s and 80s out there on Friday. But then on Friday, again, we're going to be seeing, we got two of them there. So, okay, so, well, that one should have been Saturday, but anyway, so my mistake on the map. But here we are with Sunday. Saturday is going to be hot. So remember that it's going to be 90 in the 90s as well in the Pacific Northwest. But look at Sunday, 95 in Portland, 87 in Seattle. So look at that warmth. There's a lot of warmth coming in into the Pacific Northwest as we get in that air coming from the southeast and the east out of the Rockies and across the plains here in Washington and Oregon, east of the Cascade Mountain Range, we have large kind of semi-arid plains. It's very similar to the desert Southwest. Not as dry, but it's much drier because of the Cascade Mountain Range right here. But on this side of the mountain range, we're going to have what's called subsidence, subsiding air. And subsiding air gets compressed. So we're going to be seeing that compression as the air comes up over the mountains and slide down the mountains. And as it does, it's going to warm. So we're going to be seeing those temperatures in the mid-90s on the westward side of the Cascade Mountain Range as we head into the weekend. And we're also going to see that severe weather threat because we have that low pressure coming out of California. And that low pressure is pulling up moisture off of the Gulf of Mexico and even the Pacific. So we're seeing that moisture come across Old Mexico and into southern Texas, Oklahoma, eastern Colorado. So we're going to be seeing those severe thunderstorms for your day on Wednesday. And we're going to also be dealing with the potential for tornadoes and damaging winds up to 70 to 80 miles an hour. Very large hail is also going to be possible as we take a look, as we deal with that severe weather threat for your Wednesday across the eastern plains. This is the high plains of Colorado, Wyoming, western sections of Kansas, Nebraska, and across southwestern South Dakota. We're going to be dealing with those thunderstorms, those severe storms tomorrow. And we have our dry line down here in Texas. So we're going to deal with dry line severe storms across Texas on your Wednesday as well. So as we take a look at our tornado threat, we're going to be seeing potential there for tornadoes and large hail there across the high plains. So this is due to the east of the Rocky Mountain Range. So Denver, areas west of the east of the Rockies are going to be dealing with that upsloping. So we're going to be dealing with those thunderstorms tomorrow. We're going to be seeing some widely scattered severe weather across the western plains on your Wednesday. The same thing is going to go for your Thursday. So those plains, those storms will move a little bit further out into the plains. So Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, as well as into Iowa, Missouri, parts of southwestern Minnesota, and South Dakota. We're going to be dealing with those severe thunderstorms. Again, they are going to be producing large hail, damaging winds, and isolated tornadoes. We will see heavy rain as well, but the heavier rain is going to be further to the south into Texas and along the Gulf Coast. I'm not expecting much as far as excessive rainfall with these, as I'm seeing the risk for more severe weather across the Midwest and then across the plains as we head through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So here is their excessive rainfall, what we're going to be seeing down across southern Texas as we have a trough of low pressure. A trough is kind of like a ripple in the atmosphere. If you could say the atmosphere is a flat line, those troughs is going to be like this. A bump in the atmosphere, a ripple in the pattern or in the flow. So, and that ripple creates uplift. So we're going to be seeing lift here across central and southern Texas. So a lot of rainfall, 3 to 5 inches of rain possible in Del Rio, 2 to 3 inches in San Antonio, 2 to 3 area in Lubbock. Dallas is going to be seeing 1 to 2 inches of rain between Friday and Sunday. So we're going to be seeing, look at this, 5 to 7 inches of rain down in San Antonio between Friday and Sunday. So excessive amounts of rain down here across southern Texas. So get ready for that rain. And if you're driving around and you see a flooded roadway, turn around, don't drown. Very serious conditions will take place, as well as the potential for some severe thunderstorms across Texas as well. And here we are, where we're going to be seeing a lot of rain. It's going to be a very wet week down across the south. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we're going to be seeing that flood threat mainly confined to the Gulf coastal areas. So Houston over to New Orleans. We're going to be seeing that heavy rain. Again, for your Wednesday, that flood threat expands to the north. So it's going to start to spread into central and maybe parts of North Texas and into Arkansas as well. But then on Thursday, the threat for the Rockies and plains. So now that heavy rain and excessive rainfall shifts to the north into the Midwest or the high plains of Colorado and Wyoming and Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and South Dakota. We're going to start to see that excessive rainfall, and maybe even to parts of western Minnesota as well. So a very wet week in store for the central and southern plains. Glorious weather on the east coast and on the west coast. Dry conditions, no rainfall to be expected into the weekend across the east and the west. Very warm out west, pretty warm out in the east, but very wet right here in the nation's middle. So Texas, look at that heavy rain down there in Texas. We can see as much as 5 to 8 inches of rain, especially right here around the San Antonio and southwestern Texas. And we're going to be seeing that heavy rain up into the high plains. So Dodge City, Rapid City, we're going to be seeing those areas, the Old West, the Wild West, seeing that heavy rain and some of those severe thunderstorms as well. So we still have a lot of rain to come, and we're going to have rounds and rounds of repeated heavy rainfall down across the southern plains and along the Gulf Coast. So heavy rain and thunderstorms will be the order of the day across the south, the plains, the southern plains, and into Texas. So a lot of wet. I just can't stress how wet it's going to be across the south and through the plains this week, and the severe weather, amount of severe weather that we're going to see. The good news is I think tornadoes will be held to a minimum, and these are going to be mostly be hail and heavy rain producers and some gusty winds with some of these thunderstorms. So again, you know what to expect with this severe weather, and we're going to be seeing that rain as well on Thursday, and we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms through Texas, through the Midwest, look at it all the way up into the northern plains. So we're going to be seeing that severe weather over there on Thursday, and we're going to be seeing that heavy rain down across Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and all the way down into parts of North Florida. Here, this is where Tampa, St. Petersburg is. So we're going to be seeing heavy rain and flooding in that area as well. And we're going to be seeing that severe weather threat on Saturday and Sunday down across south central and southwestern Texas, San Antonio again, Del Rio, and one of my favorite places, Laredo, Texas. We're going to be seeing that severe weather on your Saturday and Sunday into Sunday morning, and we can see that potential for some severe weather all the way far north as Wichita, Kansas. We can see some isolated severe into the weekend. Now I got to talk about something that's not meteorology related, but this is an image from the James Webb Space Telescope, and this is a young star. It's called if I'm pronouncing this right, Fomalhaut. This is a very young star that's still developing, and what we're looking at is what is called an accretion disk. When our solar system formed, our star, there was a lot of dust. There's a lot of dust and materials, all of the stuff that make up the planets and all of the objects in a solar system is in this ring of dust. And once the planets started forming, the accretion, some of these dust particles stick together by electricity and magnetism. Electricity and magnetism leads to the creation of planets, not gravity. Gravity doesn't become an object, a thing, until it gets to a certain size where it can start attracting other objects. And what gravity does is it bends the space-time. So it makes objects come closer together. But electricity and magnetism is actually more powerful than gravity. Gravity is not the most powerful thing in the universe. Gravity is an effect of other things that are more powerful. So, with that being said, this accretion disk, you see the dark areas, that is probably where planets are circulating. They are traversing through. Am I doing this right? They are traversing through this disk, and those planets are collecting the materials as they go through the accretion disk. So they're steadily getting larger because they are attracting other materials in that accretion disk as it goes around. So that's why it has this three layers, darker here, darker there, and that is because of planets that are too dark to see because they absorb light, they don't emit light. They have to put that over the star because the star is so bright, so that is there, so just so that you can see all of this wonderfulness that is going on around our star. So that is an accretion disk. This is a forming solar system. This is exactly how our solar system, where Earth and the beautiful planets in our solar system, we were once like this. And eventually, this could possibly be like our solar system. It could have multiple planets. It could have some gas giants, maybe some rocky worlds as well. So that is just something special from the wonderful James Webb Telescope that I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm not just a weatherman, I'm also an astronomy guy as well, and astrophysics and all that kind of stuff. Mr. G got a wide range of talent now. Let's not play games. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave your likes, comments, feel free to subscribe. And if you have any questions about anything related to science, especially planetary science, so if you want to know about earthquakes or whatever, please feel free to leave your questions in the chat. I will answer your questions in a future video, okay? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave a likes, comments, and subscribe.